How can we describe the team news? Have you got some tricky but good decisions in terms of bringing people back in and selection?
Yes, and thank goodness for that. So Zaha's back in the frame for this game. We have had a serious injury this week though to Christian's brother, to Jonathan, which is going to keep him out of action for a good 3 or 4 months. So it's a shame for him and for us. But the group that travelled to Sunderland, we have the addition of Wilf into there.
What's he done?
His meniscus on his knee looks a problem, yeah.
How did it happen? Was it?
Just in training, his knee locked when he was doing a finishing drill. Excuse me. It can happen, and it will need an operation.
The decision with Wilf, is that whether or not he can start or be an impact player from the bench? Is that
Correct.
Right now?
Yeah.
Which way are you leaning?
Well, I'm not telling you. Yeah, no, he's trained 1 full day. Yeah.
And in terms of the game itself, how does it change in terms of its context with it being a Friday night game? Do you think there'll be much different to it being a kind of Tuesday or a Wednesday? You know, it's Friday, start of the weekend. Will it affect the atmosphere in which you're playing in, that kind of thing?
I think it's interesting because if I was a fan, a Friday night game has a lot of attractions to it. I can see that, and I quite like the idea. I don't know how it will affect the game because I've not played in one yet, but certainly under the lights at Goodison will be, I think, trickier for us than a Saturday afternoon. So I think it favours the home side a little.
One of the subplots, of course, is 2 top strikers potentially being in the starting lineup, one on either side, with Lukaku and Benteke, and that kind of head-to-head. Where do you sort of put both of those guys in the Premier League sort of standings, if you like, in terms of strikers, big number 9s?
Well, all I can talk about is the strikers I've worked with, and I've worked with a lot. Defoe, Demba Ba, Papa Cisse, Teddy Sheringham, Tevez, and they're all in the same category in that they're top players, of course, and they're international level. And I think you'd have to say the same about Christian, and you'd have to say, obviously, say the same about Lukaku, who has his shirt for Belgium at the moment. And Christian, in the best possible way you could imagine, wants that shirt. You know, both of those guys have a little kind of subplot to the game. Great for Roberto, of course, who's now the manager of Belgium, to sit back and enjoy. But Christian is in great form. Everything we've seen about him, everything I've conducted with him, I have to say, has been of a very high level.
How has he impacted the group, Christian, in terms of, is there any sort of extra element of the professionalism he brings in, or his experience, or is there an extra dynamic he adds?
Assurance for the team. That's what he's brought, because I think we know that now him and Connor and Fraser, by the way, we have 3 strikers that there's not much to choose from between them, but certainly Christian's record gives us an assurance that he's going to get the goals, and the other 2 have to push him.
How do you think Yannick's going to enjoy the night against his former club?
Listen, I love Yala, so I just hope he doesn't have one of these super duper games that he can have. But of course he'll be looking to impress. He has nothing to prove to us or our fans. Our fans still love him. I don't think they're particularly happy that Everton have the song that they feel they've stolen from our fans, but that goes with signing big players, so I have no problem with that either. But look forward to seeing him.
You know, the England stuff is on the agenda very much this week. What were your feelings, Alan, as it all started to unravel at the start of the week?
Well, of course, tremendous sympathy that Sam has lost his job, because obviously it was a dream job for him, and the pinnacle, as Eddie Howe said this morning, of Englishman's career is to perhaps be the manager of England. I'd agree with that. So to lose it in those circumstances was horrible for everybody.
And in terms of how it plays out now, obviously Gareth's got it for 4 games. I think there's a game in March, so it might well be that they're not making a full-time appointment towards the end of the season to the games in June. Does that affect you in any way in terms of whether it would bring you into play for the job if they make a full-time appointment towards the end of the season?
Well, there's a few answers to those questions that you've posed there. Firstly, I think they've got a good manager in charge right now in Gareth. He's been through the system. He knows the players that are coming through. I have tremendous respect for him as a fellow player when I played with him, and as a coach and a manager. And I think he's got a bit of X factor about him. And he has 4 games, I think, guaranteed. And I think he'll do well, and I hope he does do well. Coming back to myself, I'm so lucky to have this football club where it is right now. The chairman and I have a great relationship. We have 2 American investors in Josh and David that have shown me great faith, and I have a team that I really have a good feeling for. So this football club right at this time is where I want to be, and the fans have been terrific to me as they are, and it kind of holds a special place for me anyway because I played here. So that's where my focus is entirely right now.
So it's too good to leave, be it now or be it at the end of the season?
Well, at the moment, certainly that's my view, and if it was not in the hands that it's in, maybe my thinking would be different. But I think Gareth will do well. I really do, and I hope so. I hope for everybody that he does well, because I think everybody who knows him knows he's a gentleman, and he's a character that will work very, very hard for the English players to give them the best format to win these games. And these games need to be won, because the next 2 tournaments are very crucial for England. They're winnable, and I sense that that group has got a chance.
And last one on this now, I view you as someone who's really close to fans, in that you've done a real job and you kind of know what fans go through. But yet now you work in the position that you work in, so you know all about football. Is the game in danger of becoming sort of, the fans in danger of becoming disillusioned with the game, with the stuff they read about this week? You know, the real people that go out, work hard and spend their money, and then they read the things that they're reading.
They're my friends. Everybody's got friends, but no, I don't think so, because I think the game transcends the finance of the game to a degree. The excitement, what it brings to your community, to the people, to release from their jobs, the release that you have every working day to go and watch your team play. That will never change. And if you look at American sport is above the English Premier League even in terms of finance and agents and everything else in terms of money. It just needs to be, make sure it's regulated. We need to be on top of it. And I like to think that the FA are probably in the process of doing that and tightening up a few things.
Thank you.
First of all, Alan, I wanted to just reflect on the last match and what impressed you about the rallying of your team to come back and get all 3 points.
I think when you're playing in a game, and I've played in many games where you've played well, and you're 2-0 down, I think it's very easy, and I've played in teams and been affected by it myself. We go, it's just not going to be our day. You know, it's just, we can't do any more and we're getting beat here. But there are some teams that you're in where you think there's still a chance, even though we've played well and we're still 2-0 down. And the first goal was critical, of course, in that feeling, because it didn't go for 10, 15 minutes. We only had that feeling of 2-0 down for a little while. So the goal was crucial. I'm not going to take away from that. But then the drive to get it back, to correct it, was brilliant. And it really impressed me, that spirit. We grew up in the 14 players. Because we talk about it, Premier League managers, it doesn't get a lot of focus. But more and more the game's moving to a 14-man game. We keep saying it to our squad, to our group, and it sounds like we're trying to keep the squad happy. But there's no way we would have won that game without the 3 subs. They all played a massive part. So it was brilliant for everybody, especially for the manager, to turn around and say, well, we've all contributed today, well done.
Is it that sort of spirit that's going to move Crystal Palace onto this next level?
Yeah, but we got to fight. We got to fight more than most teams in the Premier League, because technically they have an advantage over us, but we're closing that gap.
And in terms of another game in, and that means another game for you to assess assess the changes that you've implemented in style? How are you feeling that they're progressing?
Well, I do. I think we look more confident in what we're doing. We understand the circulation that we're operating in midfield. Our fullbacks are getting to understand their involvement in offensive play is slightly different. And more importantly, the goalie and the two centre-backs are comfortable in what they're doing. And if they feel uncomfortable, then that system won't work.
Spoken about perhaps the selection headache with players coming back. Is the key to this, though, consistency? Is it starting to define what your starting 11 is going forward for the rest of this season?
I think last year there's a lot of times as a football manager that you can, your fans could name your team. And I think last year would have been easy for our fans to name the team. Of course, that's not the same as getting out there on a Saturday. There's lots of things we have to cover, and how much we're going to focus on the opposition, how much we're going to focus on us, set plays, rhythm, the flow of the game, your momentum, all those things. But the fans can still just name the team. I think it's harder this year, and I think that's a good thing. And I think our fans would probably be split on the starting 11 for this game, and that means that we got real competition everywhere.
Morning, Alan.
Morning.
Just one question about the England job. How much does it upset your line of thinking or your focus when perhaps every day from now on till there's an appointment you're going to be linked with the job?
Yeah, I think that is a side track. Of course, I'm privileged and proud to be in that small group that's going to be linked with it. So there's that part that I'm not going to shy away from, of course. And the other part is the focus I have to do here for this football club, and what I have to return in their loyalty to me. And that won't shake. I will make sure that doesn't happen to me.
Ronald Kerman's started, well, firstly on fire at Everton, apart from last week. Have you been surprised that he's been able to sort of get it happening really that quickly?
Well, you know, people talk about good jobs, and I think he's got a good job there. He had a financial push in the summer when he went there, and they've bought very, very well. They've obviously taken a great player from us as well. So he's got good players. He's an experienced now Premier League manager. He's done well in the Premier League at Southampton, so he knows the opposition. And now it's about trying to get that Everton team as best he can, consistent as he can. And certainly, even last year under Roberto, I thought there was a good side, perhaps slightly underperforming for whatever reason. So a real good set of players there, so they will do well this year.
And your new signings have settled in really well. Were you surprised because they had some big shoes to fill, particularly in the case of Cristiano Ronaldo?
Well, I think that's true, but also you do need to be very, very thorough in your scouting and choosing of players, in which we were. And I think our team has done a great job. My scouting team, my owners, and my staff. So that side is well, but you still sometimes takes a while for a player to settle. I had that at Newcastle. No one always hit the ground running, and at the moment, the one I worried perhaps more about hitting the ground running is the goalie, because obviously coming into the Premier League from League One in France is different. He's been terrific. He really has been a massive bonus.